We are live. I'm just going to wait for a minute to see some attendees come in and then get started with our webinar. I already see the attendee count going up. Okay, I think we can start. Hi, everyone. I'm Shweta Dadipani. Welcome to Be Waste Wise. I'm one of the community builders on Be Waste Wise. Today, we have Zoe Lenkovich, Director of Global Waste Lab, moderating the webinar. Zoe, this is the first webinar that you're moderating in 2025, right? This is the first webinar that Zoe is moderating in 2025 on Be Waste Wise. So to see all the past webinars she's been a part of, please go to the webinar section or go to her page on our website and you'll find everything. Zoe is discussing transforming rural waste management in today's webinar. She has two panelists to speak with. We have Luckyta Sari, who's a village facilitator coordinator at Yayasan Rijig Pradana Wetan in Banyuwangi in Indonesia, and Gurpreet Singh, program manager at the Barefoot College. He's based in India. A little bit of housekeeping. I think most of you know this. Your questions go into Q&A. Introduce yourselves in chat. If you have additional comments, please use chat. But for questions, please use Q&A. It's going to be an hour long. And after the initial comments, the panelists and Zoe will be ready to take your questions. Over to you, Zoe.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm really excited to be talking about this topic, which many of you will know is close to my heart. So all of these, like so many people living in rural areas, but what we often see is the donors' focus and government's focus going on waste management in cities. But then what happens to the people who are in these villages and smaller towns? You know, are they always going to be the last to receive good waste management systems? So nice to see you all saying hello. Hi, Raymond. Hi, Flick. Hi, Mary. Great. So we've got lots of people joining us from Africa as well. For once, I don't have a speaker from Africa. I wanted to bring in some experiences from other places that I've got a personal connection with. But to all of our friends, wherever you are, in Africa or elsewhere, please do join the conversation. You know, these issues that rural places face with waste management are fairly universal. So I'm really keen to also encourage you to include your ideas, questions, suggestions, and so on in the chat. Introduce yourself in the chat. Questions go in the Q&A, as Shweta said. So I've got the instructions, right? Hi, Babacar. Hi, Suman. Hi, Natalie. Okay, super. Hi, Margaret. All right, brilliant, brilliant. Lovely to see you all here. Thank you very much for joining us. Right, so as Shweta said, I'm joined today by two very special people from very special organisations. The first is Luckyta Sari. Now, Diana is one of the village, well, she's the coordinator actually now of the village facilitators in the Yayasan Rijig Pradana Wetan, which is a local foundation in Banyuwangi. Now, Banyuwangi is in the east of Java in Indonesia, and Diana will show you when she gives her slides. So I've been working with Diana and her team for a year or two now, and we're working on improving people's access to waste management services in these rural areas. And then we're going to hear from Gurpreet Singh, who is the head of waste management at the Barefoot College in Rajasthan. Now, when I was a student all the way back in 2001, I read a case study on Barefoot College, and it just transformed my whole perspective on how development can really work for people by doing it in a bottom-up way. So I do encourage you to have a look at the website of Barefoot College. It's barefoot.college. Okay, got that? barefoot.college, and Shweta is going to be sharing the web address there. And the website for Diana's group, the Yayasan, is yrpw. Diana, help me out.
.or.id.
Thank you. .or.id. Okay, so you can be having a look at those perhaps after our discussion. But first of all, I think we should invite Diana to share her slides and present a little about your work, please, Diana. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Hi,
We can't hear you very well. Deanna, we can't hear you. Deanna, we can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Yep.
Not getting any sound coming through.
Can everyone hear me?
Got you now. Perfect. Loud and clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm from Rijig Pradana Wetan, Banyuwangi, East Java. It's clean village from the East Foundation, Banyuwangi, Indonesia. I work with Clean Ocean through clean communities with village assistant program. Everyone know Banyuwangi. Banyuwangi is the small regency actually in East Java, Indonesia, and our citizen here around 1.7 millions, and it's very near with Bali. Yeah,
Deanna,
if you go,
can I ask you
yeah,
to put the presentation view on for your slides, please, because we're seeing everything.
sorry, Zoe, we already.
We're seeing all of the
already.
speakers. Yeah, can you have it in presentation view? Because we're seeing the presenters view. Doesn't matter. If you can't change it, just might be your preference. Technology, it always gets me.
Oh, yes, I'm
especially
sorry.
when there we are. That's perfect. Okay, thank you. Over to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So it's about 45 minutes just across to the sea. You will see the Bali Island is very famous. Yeah, we are living here in Banyuwangi. So yeah, next. The Banyuwangi Regency Waste Master Plan is already created since 2023 to 2046, and this is guidance for us to work together in the village assistant program. Yeah, village assistant program, we already spread out around 17 villages. Since for 2024, we already grabbed like 15,800 services. It is include household and small businesses. And we already work together with the operator in TPS3R around 110 people. Yes, and for the waste tonnage, we already manage like 42.9 tons per day. And what about 25 target? We have target like 3,500 more services. We will manage it together with the people in the villages and 94 more labor or operators in the villages. And this is a very big number. And to pursue the program doing so well in the village assistant, we work together with the community awareness. The first thing, we just visit the village head, and then we make the schedule to see the empowerment community over there. Why we choose mother group? Because the mother is manager in the household, so that we encourage them not to burning, to use a shopping bag to short the waste, and maybe to use tumbler to reduce the plastic. Yeah, we very difficult in the first time to recognize them about our process, our program in the village assistant. But we have many kind of approachment. The first, we can work together with the health department. Health department usually they will send the doctor to present to the mother's group, and then the doctor will socialization about the health impact for the waste management. And then with this approach, this is very impactful because usually the mother concerned to the family health. And after the mother groups, we have organic waste processing or organic waste treatment. Here, we use two kind of alternative to reduce the waste. First, black soldier fly larvae. Because we have a black soldier fly larvae, we think that this is the best things to reduce the organic waste. And the second is open withdraw composting. I'll tell about the black soldier larvae. If we sell the fresh black soldier larvae, it is very cheap. The price is only $0.2. And then with these methods, the people in TPS3R have the innovation to make the fish pond, because if we sell the fish after black soldier, fresh black soldier larvae, we feed to the fish and we sell the fish, the price is $3 for each kilo. And the next is we have dry black soldier larvae. This is the price around $5 for each kilo. And then we have composting. Composting here is sell like $1 for each kilograms. Yes. And beside that, we also manage the inorganic waste. We already manage 4 tons per day. This is in cooperation with the informal sector, one villages to another villages. We usually put in the center waste in the villages together, and then we mix some working together with the small industry. So the small industry can take the plastic or the recycling after in a huge amount. This is to reduce the cost. All right, this is the part very emotionally, because we already work with around 110 people in the 14 villages and another in wards. So they are trained, skilled, and motivated. One of them, when I was took around, and then they asked me, and then they say to me, thank you, because recognize them to the village assistant program. In that situation, I'm very emotional, because they say, yeah, I can work in the center of the waste in the village, so that the family can buy something or can pay the school fee for the children. Yeah, and for the mothers group, I ever told thank you to encourage us, because we're not burning again, maybe for the diapers, because they have baby. For these stages, we work together with the health department. For the workers, they have monthly medical checkup, and it's free. Yeah, for the safety worker also, the health department give them the knowledge about it. We are very, very glad about it. And not only adult, we also take concentration for the children. Children is very valuable to get the waste education in the school environmental. So Yayasan Rijig Pradana Wetan produced 3 kinds of modules. First, for elementary, the junior high school, and senior high school. We recognize the program in the educational department. They support us for the morally, and then to interact each other with the student and also the teacher. And we also have the agenda with the student, 1 million tumbler movement to reduce the plastic waste. And we interact together with the children every day, and this is amazing for us. And thus all for our successfulness, or we can say it achievement, we work together with the Banyuwangi Regency. They support, yeah, with the department, environmental department, village empowerment, employment department, educational department, vocation and productivity department, and health department. We hand in hand together to make Banyuwangi better place and better environmental to everyone. And also, these are our team, Yayasan Rijig Pradana Wetan team. I have like 14 teams here, and also Zoe is our project advisor since like 2 or 3 years ago, and we are very pleased about it. And the last, we have our partners. We work together, we share each other, we correct each other and share the information. And those are, we want to make Banyuwangi better place for everyone. That's all, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Diana. Good job.
Yeah, Zoe.
Thank you. That was all really clear, and there's a few points in particular that I'm excited to discuss with you after. So perhaps now we'll go to Gurpreet's presentation, and then after we can look at the similarities and differences and get that discussion going. So thanks again, Deanna. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Gurpreet.
Is it visible?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and am I audible too?
Yes, loud and clear. Thanks, Gurpreet. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to start with giving a brief introduction about the Barefoot College. So Barefoot College is a community-based grassroots organization. So that is been working like since from last 5 decades for the upliftment of rural communities through education, livelihood, and the sustainable solutions. I think that there is a technical error actually. Give me a second.
Then I want to scroll through to the next slide. Try using the button just at the bottom where the Telonia logo is, Gurpreet. There's a little right-hand button arrow there. Try that.
Yeah, it's working. It's working.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so Tilonia, so it's in the Rajasthan state. It is located in the Rajasthan in Ajmer district, and there is a very small village called Tilonia. So it is in the center of the state, and you can also see the picture of the campus on the left down. And so why we started working on a waste management. So in 2016 we begin our work on the waste management, and around the same time Indian government has also launched a few programs in India related to the waste management, but all of those programs was very limited to the urban areas. And if we talk about the numbers of the urban areas, so in the urban areas 62 millions of tons of metric tons of waste generated in a year, and only 80% of it gets collected, 20% of it's treated, and rest of it just go into a dump yard. So over the year, the focus of the government has been on the urban waste management, but however over 60% of the population in India stays in the rural areas, so they stays in over 500,000 villages, and they do not have any waste management system there. So alone rural areas generate half and metric tons of waste in a year, and all of it most either burned or dumped, because again there is no existent of the waste management system. And to when we started our work in 2016 to understand the problem in to understand the local scenarios in a more detail, so we did a survey, and we found that a small village of 1,000 of a household in a year approximately generate 200 tons of waste, and 70% of it just goes into a landfills, and the rest are just burned. And in Rajasthan, it's very common practice for a woman to burn plastic in their cooking stove, along with the biomass fuel. So that's the reason we found that. And if we talk about the Rajasthani context, so here in Rajasthan, the water scarcity has been the biggest concern. So everything else apart from the water, so comes after that. So at that time that we realized that just a building infrastructure of a waste collection or the treatment wouldn't be enough in this scenario. So we really needed to work on the bringing the behavioral change, and we need to change their mindset toward waste management. And so for that to do this in the same year, after doing all these surveys, so we so we co-designed a community-owned waste management system along with the community, and then we piloted it into a very small village with the 300 household called Chota Narayana, and later on the same village become the first zero waste village of the Rajasthan. And why we are calling it a community-owned. So it is the system is like entirely designed by the community. It is implemented by the community. It's also being run by the community. So that's why we are call it a like community on waste uh, management system. And then so we are doing it like from 7 to 8 years, last 7 to 8 years we are doing it. But how we are doing it, the approach we are using for that. So there has been a like four key component of the program. So the first is the community mobilization. So our focus has been on like how we can like mobilize and sensitize the community like before initiating the waste collection and the treatment work. So for like first 5 to 6 months, we just work with the community. So what we do in the community mobilization is, so first we do the baseline survey to identify like what type of waste is being generated there and what they are doing with it. And our like survey form also includes some questions about their mindset. Like, do they already know like the waste like burning and the open dumping can be like harmful like for them, or still they are doing it? So it's more about like what like do they think about the waste, because it will help us to like design the activities accordingly. And then we like form a committee of the village representatives and the influential people, and like including the like women and the youth. And it's a like the women led committee to like co-lead the entire system. And then we have like training programs, modules for the like students, the schools and the community as well. And like with the students, so we do have like module for 2 days. So on the first day, like we teach them about the waste type, its disposal practices, its effects on the environment, on the communities as well. And the second day, we like conduct hands-on practices like the puppet making with the paper waste, the pencil box making with the like the used bottles. And we like also teach them about the composting techniques. And we also like set up a like small waste management system in their schools to like with the idea to transform those schools into like the waste free or the zero waste schools. And then we have a like the puppetry program with the community. And so in Rajasthan, the puppetry has been the like traditional media of the communication over the year, and it is very impactful and entertaining at the same time. And it's play a very crucial role in conveying or delivering the very serious message to the community, like without like making any offense. And they also like participate. It's like a like two-way communication. Like sometime what happens is like maybe I might not be able to like deliver my message, but a puppet can like do this. So that's what we do. So apart from like these all these sections, then we have a focus group discussions. We do awareness meetings, and we do the capacity building workshop with the like the committee which we have formed in the starting to build their capacity, so they'll be able to like manage, run, and the entire system on their own. So that's the activities that we'll do in the community mobilization. And so after completing the community mobilization and the sensitization, like we'll select the individuals and from the same village to become a like waste management worker. And we select the individuals like who comes from the marginalized communities. And these are the individuals like who were being discriminated on the basis of the cleaning work that they used to do, and they were like treated the untouchable. So we provide them with a like dignified employment, and now they'll get a chance to work in a safe working environment. And they'll receive a like 10 days on campus training. So they'll come to Barefoot campus, they stays here, then they like get trained on the waste collection, treatment, it's sorting. So although all those like training we'll provide to them. And so they joined us as a waste management worker, but later on they like become the master trainer, and they provide training to the new batches. Oh, so like while doing the selection of the personnel and the community mobilizing, in the meantime, like we also construct we also like set up our infrastructure. So infrastructure, it's basically a like waste treatment center, like where all the like collected waste will be like transported and treated. So we call it a RRC. Means because we consider waste as not a waste, because for us it's on the perspective and like how you are tackling it. So for us it's a resource, and we call it a resource recovery center. So it has its own feature. So we built like pits there, like pits for the composting of the wet waste, and we do have a storage facilities for the dry waste, as you can also see in the picture also in the background. The like blue ones are the storage facilities, and the, like in the green one there are the pits for the compost making. And like apart from these two like core components, we have also like add on like few things, like we have like made a like plastic pond to keeping the like water scarcity issues in mind of Rajasthan. So we also build a like plastic pond to like just collect the rainwater, and like using the same rainwater for the watering of the trees, kitchen garden, and to use the same water in the compost. And then we have also established the like kitchen garden there. So the idea was to establish kitchen garden to like demonstrate the use of compost into like veggie and crops, to like motivate the local farmers to like go for the like organic farming. And then we have like also planted medicinal and fruit plants there. So the idea it's just not about the waste collection and the treatments. It's about how we can use like make the maximum use of the land, and it's about the circular economy. Like we have like collecting of it, then we are using it on site, and we are converting wet waste into a compost, and then we are using the same compost in our like kitchen garden. So that's been the like idea. So it's all the like features of our RRC, the infrastructure. So like once everything is set, the infrastructure is there, the community is mobilized, and the personals are selected, then we move on to the work of the waste collection. So our like waste management work in electrical vehicles, so they go like door to door, and they'll collect the waste into like three categories of the wet waste, the biodegradable one, and then there is a dry waste. It's generally includes the plastic, glass, the all the items that cannot be biodegradable. And then there are the third category, the hazardous waste. It's include the like broken glass and all the things, the chemicals, medicines, sanitary napkins, all these things. So then they just bring all these waste to the like RRC unit, and then they just like put the wet waste into a like pits for the composting, and then they segregate the dry waste items into like further like 22 23 categories, and then like for the reusing and for the recycling. So that's all the system is working, and like entire system is being just managed and supervised by the local committee and the community, like along with the support of the local governing bodies, which in India, like we call it a like panchayat. So that's what is like happening here. So to manage entire system, so what they do is, so they do like monthly meetings, they do weekly meetings. In those meeting, they discuss the progress of the project, and they like form action plan for to like conduct the upcoming activities. And like in all this meeting, the agenda is being about key, like if there is any challenges being like facing program is facing, like if someone there might be a locality like who have not joined the program, there might be household who are still like burning or dumping their waste. So they make their activities accordingly. So they'll plan like if some like localities are not joined the program, so they decided to do a preparatory program there. So that's how it's been like the entire system is just run and managed by like the women led committee. And so like this been is about our approach. And if we talk about the impact we've been able to like made in all those like last 8 to 9 years. So like in 2016, we have started with the one village, but now after getting a success there, we have scaled the system to like 10 more villages, and it is operational like in all these villages, and it is successfully run by the local like formed committees. And we have been, if we talk about the numbers of the waste, so we have been able to like convert like 50 metric tons of like compost from a wet waste, and we have been able to like saved the like over like 50 metric tons of like dry waste from like landfilling or burning. And through this initiative, like we have also provided employment to like 10 individuals, and 5 out of them are women. So that's been like our impact over the year. And like apart from this, there are few things which I also like to share, that like in all this, like when we have started, so the plastic generation numbers are very high. So we have been able to like decrease the plastic generation from 30 to like 40%. But in India, like what happens is like when we have the donors, so they want to see the numbers. So they want to see like how much plastic is being generated and collected. But what we say to them, that this, like waste collection or maybe the like plastic collection and the treatment cannot be the ultimate solution. So what we really need to do is that how we can just like motivate or empower like community to like just like prevent the use of the plastic, and how we can motivate them to just reuse the items that they can use. So like that's all, and so that's how like I thank you, and I would like to conclude, like if you really want to like make rural India or maybe the rural like world waste free, so it cannot be done alone. We all need to come together, and we all need to come forward. Only then we would be able to like achieve that. Thank you, Joy. Over to you.
Thank you, Gurpreet. That was brilliant. And I love your message at the end there about everyone working together, because we do have a lot of shared challenges here. So great presentation. Thank you both ever so much. Lovely to see the all the comments coming into the webinar chat. And please, if you do have specific questions, so that we don't lose them in the chat, please pop them in the Q&A. So that's, if you just look at the bottom of your screen, there's a button there with a question mark, says Q&A under it. Please pop your question there, and then we'll make sure that we answer it either live through discussion, or one of us will type an answer in for you. So just to kind of summarize, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between the two contexts here, of Banyuwangi and the Tilonia area of Rajasthan in India. So I'm just going to highlight a few of those shared points that you raised. First of all, the importance of local ownership. Yeah, I love how you work with the village heads, but really you're working often with the women of the village, recognizing that they are the managers of the household, and therefore often the ones that are mainly responsible for the household waste management. Also, there was a point about the, sort of listening, consulting with the community really carefully to understand what their perceptions, beliefs, current behaviors, barriers to change are, so that you can design a system that genuinely works for them, and that they're going to be able to use as much as you want them to. There was also a really important message there about waste prevention from Gurpreet and from Deanna as well. Because, as we're always saying, the cheapest waste to manage is the waste that was never generated in the first place. And yeah, sometimes the kind of government targets, or even the sustainable development goals, focus on kind of the wrong metric. Yeah, they're focusing on percent recycled, but really we should be looking at how we're preventing this waste from being produced in the first place. Moving on then, obviously a lot of focus on organic waste, which we would expect in rural areas, and nice to see that you're both taking different approaches to turning your organic waste into something that's locally valuable, and we'll dig into that in a minute as well. And then finally, great that you're both looking at, you've developed your models in a way that is replicable. You know that because it's worked in this many villages, you can take this model to another village, and you're confident that it's going to have, equally positive impacts. So great. So thank you everybody for your comments and everything in the side. Please, again, questions in the Q&A. Deanna, I'm going to come to you quickly, if you don't mind. I want to talk about how you communicate with the villagers about the health impacts. So if we look at, when we first arrive in a village, and, as Gurpreet showed in some of his photos, people are dumping and burning their waste, everywhere because there's nothing else to do with it. So what's the message that you deliver about the health impacts of all of this, Deanna, and how do you do that?
Okay, thank you, Zoe. Yeah, the first time I took around the villages, we have like 17 villages. I have to visit one by one first, and then to see the condition of the villages that are very different, right? One villages to another villages, so that the one thing they have the same is, if they have yard to burn, usually they will burn maybe in front of their house, or maybe in the back house. So the first thing we approach to the village head and wife of the village head to say stop burning, with the start from there first. Yeah. So I'm gonna saying with the leadership impact. Yeah, the village head and the wife, they have to stop burning, and then let many doctors, maybe to also say to the neighbor not to burning and then not to throw the waste in the river. So that's the first messages. Yeah. Maybe this is sounds so simple. Why this is so simple? Because many people, uh, if we just clarify the difficult way to the waste management, this is very difficult, very difficult. Many people in the village will not follow our program. So that we start with the small things, yeah, not burning at all, to put the waste unorganic and organic and unorganic waste, so that with the simple things we can do bigger and bigger. Yeah, that's all I think.
Brilliant. Thanks, Deanna. So yeah, local leadership and getting doctors in as well, because we do find, don't we, that everybody trusts what their doctor says. So doctors can actually be really good advocates for changing waste management behaviours. Thank you for that. Gurpreet, how about you in Rajasthan? What's your approach to, you know, to getting that behaviour change in the community and getting local ownership and local leadership there?
Joy, thank you for the question. And so it's so like as Diana mentioned, so it's just about like focusing on just normalizing the things without not making it a more like very much complicated, very much complicated. So from the starting, so it's more about the like continuity of the efforts that we do make with the community. So the first thing, like in the Rajasthan scenarios, so the like so many of the people and mostly the farmer families like depend on the animal husbandry. So so we have made a one skit using a puppet. So what we like show them that if you have a goat and if you are like going to dump a plastic waste outside your home, so the goat will eat that plastic and like the goat will die, and that will going to cost you like 40 to 50,000. So that's how they like got the idea. They might be not able to understand. They might be not able to understand that how like burning plastic can be harmful for them, like in a shorter period. So it'll take like for us to like minimum 1 or 2 years to make them understand like burning plastic can also like cause like disease to you. It can like affect your respiratory system. It can affect you like reproductive health in the women. But when we'll talk about the like goat and it will going to the economical loss, income loss for you, then they'll understand, oh yeah, we do not want our like go to die. So that's how, like, that's a very basic and the simple approach we use using a puppetry.
That's great. Thank you, Gurpreet. And so interesting as well. Well, first of all, I've got a special shout out for the puppetry of Barefoot College because it's just superb. They're wonderful. Do have a look at the website barefoot.college and explore the way that they use puppets. Because as Gurpreet said earlier, there are some things, if we were to stand on stage and deliver a message, or even if we were acting in a play, there are some things that might be a little bit sensitive for us to say or difficult for us to get across. But when you introduce the use of puppets, a puppet can be any character and can say anything, no matter how cheeky or, you know, perhaps, critical of government, for example, is different once you're using puppets. So do explore that. And maybe, you know, people are from all over the place, I'm seeing in the chat. So it would be interesting to know, do you have, you know, a local way of communicating with rural communities like this? You know, what do you use in your culture? Is there a traditional way that you can bring everyone out? Because that's something else as well. If you arrive at a village and say, we're doing an information giving event, no one will come. But if you say, guys, we're doing a puppet show, everyone comes out, right? So it works really, really effectively. And then just to pick up on your point there, Gurpreet, that, you know, and I find this as well, when we're communicating with people about the negative impacts of waste, you know, often talking about climate change is way too distant for their lives. They can't relate to that. And interesting that you also gave the feedback that sometimes talking about the impact on people's health also isn't enough, because maybe that's too long term. It's not a direct, immediate impact. But by explaining that the goats, the animals could eat the plastic and become sick, then
Yeah.
people get it, because they can see that that's going to have an instant economic impact on them. So yeah, really helpful advice there. And I'm sure that other people who are watching can relate to that as well. So thanks for that. Going to move on now to the ways that you both manage organic waste, because they're kind of similar but different. And as Margaret Oshodi, hi Margaret, has pointed out in the Q&A, so Margaret's in Nigeria, so you know, similar problems wherever we are, is that organic waste is more than half of the waste that households are generating, right? So you know, why in some places does this get collected with all of the other waste and then shipped off to a dump site, when actually without much investment there's things that we can be doing that really add value for the local community? So Deanna, can I come back to you now? Can you just run us through again? So you collect food waste directly from households, right? And then you take it to
Yeah.
what's called a TPS3R, which is your
Mhm.
local village waste center. That's what they're called all across Indonesia. And you feed the food waste to the black soldier fly,
Yeah.
to the
Yeah,
maggot.
that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
to the mega.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. With the socialization with the mother group and local people, usually we directly bring the food container. So we give it for free. So we let the mother to put the waste over there. Usually we give them 1 month or 2 months free for the waste services. Yeah, with notes, they have to put their food waste from the kitchen to put in the container. So the operator from TPS3R can take the container like 2 days once. So yeah, with that roles, we elevate in all of the TPS3R in our 17 villages. So from the TPS3R, that food waste into one, and then just give to the maggot. Yeah, that's what we have done since year by year. Yeah, and
Great.
also the things we are also work together with the restaurant and cafe near the villages. Yeah, this is very important because it can produce the food waste, yeah, larger than the household.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's awesome. And then what you're doing, I was really interested in your presentation where you said that if you just sell the maggots, you get one price. So what you're doing is you are adding the value by feeding the maggots to fish, you're growing the fish yourself, and then you're able to generate
Yes.
much more income for the system by selling the fish. Because this is a question that's come up a few times in the Q&A. Thank you to everyone who's put it there. People are curious about how these systems are funded. Okay, so so I know that you're supplementing the finances of the service by selling the fish, and then you're also asking householders to pay a small fee to have their waste collected. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yes, that's right. Because we order to main people to pay the with services. That's for the operation in TPS3R or waste center. Yeah, and then to add the value to sell the fish is to local people income or operator in TPS3R. Yeah, maybe that can buy for the water, for electricity. Yeah, for buy the gloves, maybe. Yeah, maybe not much, but it can add the value.
Exactly. No, that's great. Thank you, Deanna. And Gurpreet,
Mhm.
over to you then. So you use your organic waste in the kitchen garden and in the medicinal garden as well, growing medicinal plants. So do you then sell those to villagers or do you give them away? And how do you finance the service that you provide?
So what we do, so in a like initial stage, so we just like distribute it to the farmer just for to use. And once they'll use it for like one time and after like getting one benefits of it, then it depends on the committee of that village. So they decide like whether like they want to sell it or like whether they just want to distribute. So it depends on the need of the system. It depends on the financial sustainability. If like we are able to generate enough income from like selling the waste, then the committee might just distribute it to the local farmer on a free of cost. If like we are not able to generate enough income from the selling a waste and from selling a saplings, then they decide a like very minimal fee. You'd say just then like in Indian rupees, you'd say just 5 to 10 rupees for 1 kg. Like so, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. And then, okay, so by collecting a fee from the householders, does that more or less cover your costs? I mean, I know there's always setup costs, and with Diana in Banyuwangi, their setup with the villages is supported by Clean Oceans Through Clean Communities, which is a Norwegian organization. And Gurpreet, do you also have support for when you're setting up these village systems and then they become financially sustainable afterwards?
So when we established the system, we got some support from the corporate under the CSR funds in India that they had to pay like 10% of their profit for the social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. So we got funding from those corporates, from some banks of India, the SBI Foundation and the Kotak. So they were our partner.
Mhm.
And like to establish like one RRC, to establish a like system in like for like 3 to 4 villages, the cost is like around like 40 to 50,000 dollars. And after that establishing a system, so the operational cost is around like maybe like 4 to 5,000 dollars in a year. So like what to just to ensure the financial sustainability of the system. So the cost is being like covered from like selling the recyclable waste and selling the saplings that are there at the site, and just like selling the compost to the farmer. And so like 40 to 50% of the cost is being covered from these components that are being like coming out of the RRC. And the rest of is being just like covered from through the community contribution. So the each household like pay a like minimal fees of like $4 to $5 in a year to support the system. So the committee which we have formed, so they collect those money in the like monthly meetings, and then they keep this amount in a like joint bank account, and later on they just like use this money to cover the salaries of the personnel, to maintain the vehicles and for the like maintenance of the entire site. So that's how like we are making these systems financially sustainable.
That's brilliant. And remind me again how many villages you're working in now?
So currently we are working in 10 villages, and we are benefiting over like 3,000 households.
Fantastic. But
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you, Gurpreet. So I'm going to go back to Diana here, because so what Gurpreet's just described is, you know, ways to use the material that we're collecting to make a product that is locally valuable, that people will buy, and then supplementing that income with a fee that we collect from households. So you're also collecting a fee from households, aren't you? But I know sometimes it's not easy to get households to be willing to pay the fee, because originally they could dump or burn their waste, and that's essentially free. So can you tell us a little bit about how you persuade householders to be willing to pay the fee, please, Diana?
Okay, thank you, Zoe. Yeah, in Banyuwangi, we have waste fee regulation. We have two kind of waste regulation. First, waste operation regulation and waste fee regulation. And in the when we socialization to the groups and to the village council, first we built the waste fee regulation. This is very important. Yeah, because of this, people will pay the household service. Yeah, we just work with the regency to also campaign that your waste is your responsibility, so that you have to pay.
Okay, great. And what if, so I know that it's like when you first start working in a village, obviously no one is paying, and then over the weeks and months of working with the village, you get more and more people to pay and join the service, right? So until
Yeah,
they start to pay, do they get a waste collection service or not?
yeah. First time we just give them the services first. Yeah, this is to to build the trust first between the customer and the TPS 3R operator. So after that, yeah, in monthly, usually we have one people. This is especially people to talk around in the household, yeah, to take the household fee.
Great, thank you. That's awesome. And I know that as well, like in the mothers groups that you talked about, it's a lot of kind of peer-to-peer influencing as well, isn't it? And you know,
Yeah.
leading by example.
Yeah, we usually let the mothers group to join their neighbor. One mothers group, they will have 10 neighbor to follow, join the services around their house. So we have the small community, some small community, and sometimes they just have you know, the trash bag, yeah, together, or the tumbler. Yeah, this is just to show, yeah, this is our community. Here is active. Yeah, it's just, yeah, fantastic thing.
Yeah, great. Now, I know you've done a lot of superb work about building this kind of positive energy around the perception of having a waste management service, to get people to want to join it and to want to be like their neighbours who are also taking part in it. So really congratulations to you and the other village facilitators there in the Yayasan, because I know that you've done some really, really innovative and exciting work there with the community. Okay, so we've got about 9 minutes left. I'd just like to speak and thank you again for all the questions. I hope that we're working our way through them fast enough. I just want to ask quickly then, Deanna, about the workers, because in some villages, I think it's maybe easy to find waste workers, and in others it's not so easy. So can you talk about your experience, please?
Yes, the first thing we just have a small discussion with the village council. In the village council, we have like, you know, the differentiating with the economic level. Yeah, so that we usually we ask the data for the a low economic level, and then we approach to them. Yeah, we just recognize the program, and then we just explain, what if you work with us? Yeah, we will give you maybe the monthly salary, and then you can join also with your family member. You will get the medical checkup monthly. Yeah, and this is legal worker. Yeah, because the village head will have letter that's signed by him or by her, so that this is a legal worker. So we don't have any difficulties to find the worker.
That's great. Thank you, Deanna. And that's nice. So by introducing these village waste management systems, we're also providing formalized work and dignified work as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dignified roles for local people, because we're seeing them more as resource recovery agents rather than what people might perceive as like a dirty, lowly job.
Yes, Zoe. Can you say the other way?
Sure, sorry. So I was saying that you've also done some work around changing the perception of waste work. From like, people might think negatively about like waste picking, for example, but when it's actually a job, a formal job with a uniform, and it's much more dignified, so people are happy to have those jobs.
Oh yeah, for that we also have the identity for the worker. We have the identity, we have the capacity building for the worker, we have the monitoring and supporting every villages every day with the village facilitator. So they have like you say like dignity, yeah, because also one village to another village, we usually have the community like 3 months one to share each other for the operator and worker. So you know, we just want to build the emotion connection together. Yeah,
Really
waste
nice.
management system is our job. Me too, I am also like you. Yeah, I always say like that.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Deanna. So I love that idea of getting the waste managers from different villages to come together once a month and exchange ideas and progress and help support and motivate each other. So thanks. That's a great takeaway. Gurpreet, how about you with the waste workers in the villages where you're operating? Please, could you talk to us a little bit about that?
So like in Rajasthan, I have also mentioned earlier, so in Rajasthan, there are some marginalized communities that who used to just do the cleaning work in the village, and they are also like treated as untouchable. So, but now, like what started happening is all these like individuals from all these communities has started to go into and migrated from like villages to cities. But again, that because there is no like job or employment available in the like rural area. So when we'll start to like hire individuals for the role of the waste management workers, so like we get the applications and like huge numbers because everyone like want to just to be like get back to their village and to like they want to do like 9 to 5 work and they want to go back to their homes. They want to like stay with their kids and the children and with the family. So like we go to like suppose like we have to hire like 4 people like in a one village. So we'll go to approximately like minimum like 15 to 20 applications. Then we just do their interview and then we ask the committee as well that what do you think like who would be the suitable individual for the role, and that's how we select them. And it's like why we are choosing only those people because they are the ones like who but like when they were like used to do the cleaning work, so they were not getting paid in a return. So when now it's a time to get any kind of a income from the same work. So we want to provide this opportunity to you, and because you have the experience, and now you'll get a chance to working in a like more safe environment, and now you have a dignified employment, and now you can just say to like anyone like if they're going to say just clean my waste. So now they have ability to say, no, I'm not the waste collection worker, I'm the waste management worker. So I'll treat and manage your waste. So it's like, it's you like who are generating the waste. It's not me. So that's how it's also about the like social change, like through waste management, like we bringing in the society now. So like that's what happening right now. Or like I hope like we are making a like very impactful change in their lives.
That's great. Thanks, Gurpreet. And yeah, like the work at Barefoot College is a lot broader than just waste management, isn't it? You do what else is it? Water management.
So like apart from the waste management, so there are like many more thematic areas we are working on. So the one is the water. So when like in 1972, like the organization is like started. So we started working only on water. So we started with digging well and installed the like hand pumps and all. Then later on we have also trained women to become the engineering of those to like handle those hand pumps. And later on those like women employed by the government, and now like in the we have started like constructing like rainwater harvesting tank in the government schools and the localities and in the communities. So that's all like we are doing in the water. Then one of our flagship program is been the like solar power, the green energy. So like from 1992 we have started working on the solar. So like like what we do, so we just identify like women from the like especially from the like global south, the so where like there is a no electricity. So we just the like we just identify the like women, and the focus has been on the women only. So we just identify women, so we like bring them here, and we have a like 3 or 6 month like training module. So we'll provide them a training, and then they get trained and then went back to like their like village, and they electrified their household there. Then we are also working on the education. So in the education, we started with the like
I'm gonna have to, Gurpreet, I'm so sorry. I know, I get it. And I did open that up for you to tell us more about the work of Barefoot College, but we are going to run out of time. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah, the water management, the solar engineering, training rural women who can't read or write to be solar engineers. It's just, there's all sorts going on, and that's what I wanted to do. So thank you, Gurpreet, was just to show how waste management is just one part of the social change that we can bring about by making sure that local people have the ownership and control and opportunity to make income locally without having to leave the village and move to the cities, because this increasing urbanization then creates even more difficult waste management challenges in the cities. So let's work to try and keep people close to their families in their villages and give them dignified work there. So that's great. Thank you ever so much. I've just seen one final question in the Q&A, which is about building, working with local stakeholders. when you've got kind of limited resources and infrastructure. And I think, you know, from what we've seen today, what we've heard from Gurpreet and Diana is that by paying close attention to what the needs of the local community are, we can often use waste management to help meet those needs. So in the case of Banyuwangi, they're growing the maggots, but if people don't want to buy the maggots, fine, they'll buy fish. You know, people will always buy fish or chickens or eggs, so we can use the maggots to feed those animals and then sell those to the local people. Whereas in Rajasthan, in the area of Barefoot College, you're there growing, you know, your kitchen garden. I know that you're able to grow a lot of plants that most people in the villages haven't been able to grow because they haven't got good enough soil. So you're making this compost and demonstrating what, you know, the diversity of food that can be grown once you've got good quality compost, and also the medicinal plants as well. So I'm going to wrap up there. I'm going to say a huge thank you to Diana and Gurpreet and to Shweta as ever for organising this event. And also a massive thank you to everybody who's joined on the chat and in the Q&A. As ever, we could talk for longer, but I hope that this has given you some insights into a couple of really successful and effective waste management systems in rural areas. If you found it useful, come into the chat and just stick a yes in the comments so that we can see, you know, has there been something that you've found, you know, inspiring, or have you learned something new? It's just, oh, great. Thank you. Suman, Yash, thanks a lot. Kevin, brilliant. Natalie, Vishnu. So thank you all. I'm really glad that you joined us. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you at another Be Waste Wise event sometime in the future. Shweta, over to you.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Gurpreet, and thank you, Diana. I've dropped in the links to all 3 websites and where you'll find all 3 of them on LinkedIn. So please go ahead. Zoe is very active on LinkedIn. You'll get a lot of updates from there if you follow her. Yes, we'll have one more webinar with Zoe soon. Please sign up to the Be Waste Wise newsletter. You'll find a link on the website and you will have updates over there. Thanks a lot once again. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Thank you, Diana.
Good
Thanks,
evening.
Gurpreet. Thanks,
you.
Shweta.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.